Hi guys, and welcome to another live stream. Slightly rantish and beer fueled, so I apologise if I go off on one. It is entirely possible. The video basically is about electric car servicing and whether or not it's a rip-off, which, as you can probably guess from the title, I already think it is. My Leaf was, or should I say is, going to be 2 years old in about 3 or 4 weeks, and obviously that means it's due its second year service. And I have got the pricing, obviously, for this. This is something that I've been aware of for a while and sort of wanted to do a video about, but ultimately, because my service is up now, it's kind of brought it to the forefront. And as I don't have the time to do a proper edited video, I thought I'd do a live stream. So if you're watching this after it is no longer live, please carry on. It's going to be kind of designed to be watched after the fact. Some people are even using it as like a podcast. Listening to it just via their headphones on the way to work, which is quite a good idea because they're typically longer videos than normal. So anyway, yes, electric cars are typically sold under the premise that they're very cheap to run, and of course we all know that the fuel costs are very, 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 very cheap. I myself spend about, on home charging, £150 for every 10,000 miles I do in the Leaf. That's home charging, so not including any rapid charging and whatnot on motorways. But when it comes to the maintenance, that's slightly different, it seems, or at least with some manufacturers. Now, they all say that it's cheaper to maintain an electric car. They always make a kind of a bit of a deal with it. And they're right. There is almost nothing to service in an EV. I mean, there's no oil change, there's no cam belt, there's no fan belts, spark plugs, oil filters, fuel filters. All the stuff that you kind of include in your typical maintenance schedule in an ICE is it doesn't exist. The only things really you have to concentrate on mechanically is the brake fluid, and they always try and kind of make it into a thing like, oh, you're getting washer fluid. Ooh, we're going to top up your screen wash. That's how good we are. They're really grasping at straws here. So yes, I've got a price which is a standardised price now for the Leaf. This is a second year service, of course, but I'll stick with first and second year service pricing. Now, this is a second Leaf, of course. The first one, which I got done in 2000, just over a year ago, so it's not that long ago, it was £99. That was a standard price for the first year service on a Leaf. The service hasn't changed. It's the same service now as it was several years ago, but that same very service with the Nissan Leaf is now £150. So we've gone from 99 to 129 to 150 in roughly a year with the Nissan Leaf. So that's a 50% increase. 50% in less than a year. I mean, I don't know where they get that from. It's the same service. It's not like you're getting something extra. So I really don't see the difference. I consider that a complete and total rip-off. I mean, can anybody think of anything on the chart that has gone up by £50? Sorry, not £50, 50% in less than a year. It's just it wouldn't happen. Can you imagine if milk or something else, or can you imagine if petrol went up like that? Now, don't get me wrong, EV servicing is still cheaper than ICE servicing, if you like, but considering all they do, and I watched this on the dash cam when it got its first year service, all they did is plug the car in to check the battery, which, quite frankly, any Johnny can do with an iPad, top the screen wash with 1 litre of screen wash and the rest was water, and that's it, basically. I think you do get breakdown cover as well, although, as far as I know, that comes with the first 3 years of the car anyway. So, what is the £150 paying for? It really, really does. It gets on my nerves. So, if anybody's got a Zoe, Ioniq, Tesla, could you tell me what the prices are for the kind of first and second year service? They usually go minor, major, as the Leaf does as well. And I'd love to know the prices. I think the Zoe is actually quite a bit cheaper at the moment than most. I've seen prices of like £75 to £100 for the minor and major, which is what it should be. I mean, quite frankly, on the dash cam, they spent 15 minutes on my car for £150. And this second service, which is £200, 200 quid, is basically the same service, only they do the brake fluid and the pollen filter. Now, I haven't checked yet, but is that the brake fluid check or is it a brake fluid change? So I don't know. I need to check that one. I will probably try and do something about the Leaf service in a few weeks. Of course, we all know what happened a couple of years ago when the dash cam caught something on the service on my first Leaf, which was fun. So let's just have a quick look on the chat, see if anyone's got any prices. Just had major service done on my Leaf, £200. That's gone up £50 since the last year, exactly. Tesla, of course. How much is a Tesla service? That'd be interesting to know. I know it won't be cheap, and you don't need to get it done. But someone's put £450 for the first year service for a Tesla. It is a premium car, so premium prices, I guess. I'd love to know what they do for that. And I suppose it's this, you get what you pay for, but ultimately you don't seem to get what you pay for with EV servicing. I mean, £150, anyone can change the pollen filter, for example, which is part of the second year service. It is literally just going near the glove box, pulling something off, changing the filter and plugging it back in again. That is literally it. And you can buy them for about £18, £20, something like that online for the filter. So it just, I hate being ripped off, and I now feel like I've been ripped off. If it was £150 from day one, it probably wouldn't have really occurred to me. But how can you go from £100 to £150 in about a year? I think it's less than a year actually. So yeah, it's interesting to know what other manufacturers are like. Anyone with the Zoe, because I think they are cheaper, let us know on the chat or on Twitter. I suppose I better check Twitter as well. But ultimately, it's getting on my nerves now. And what do you service on an EV? Nothing. That's the idea of going. That's why taxis and fleets go down the EV route, because they save a fortune on servicing. But it seems like they've kind of twigged now, have Nissan and manufacturers that, oh, hang on a minute, we're kind of doing ourselves out a bit of money here. We've created something which you won't spend money on. So how can we make them spend money on it? I know, we'll overcharge for the same thing that they do anyway. Plug the car in, top up your screen wash, £150. I know I keep on mentioning it, but it's got on my nerves. Excuse me, for anyone that's on about the last rant video that I did about Nissan, one thing that has come from that is that they are paying for this next service, which would have cost me £200. Ultimately, it's not costing me anything, but I just cannot see where they get off on charging people that, and I'd love them to justify it. So I'm going to go through a few on the chat now. Now I've realised that I have to scroll down to see everything. £450 for the Tesla service. All Leaf services includes pollen filter. Okay. So it's only what, brake fluid that's extra? Oh Christ. £150 for a minor on my Leaf a few weeks ago. I'm going to have to clear my throat, excuse me. Hay fever is doing my head in. Right, £50 increase over the last time. They couldn't tell me why, and then tried to return my car damaged. That's from Mr. EV Opinion, which everyone's got one of those, an opinion. Who I saw at the Fully Charged Live event, so hello to you. I've seen that they damaged your car. Well, at least they didn't piss on your car like they did on mine. What are they checking? As I have a Zoe, I don't think I've paid anything yet. They changed the 12-volt battery at 3 years. I know a lot of people with Zoes have service agreements, service packages, so I'll be interested to know how much that is. With ICE cars, you have to use official parts, but with EVs there are no parts. Other than brake fluid, you're probably right. I doubt they could say that the pollen filter wasn't genuine or something like that, so yeah. I quote for the £450 new battery for the remote, tyre rotation if needed, wheel alignment check if needed, wiper blade replacement if needed. That's for a Tesla. At least they do that. At least they actually do something for that. I mean, there's a bit of labour involved there, and it is expensive, but at least you get something for that. Nissan don't do that. I mean, the battery health. I don't know if you've ever seen it. They give you a battery health report with the Leaf. And he's basically like, "Ooh, how many stars out of 5 do you get for charging and things like that?" It's not a report by any means. How can you be being ripped off? Garages don't work for free. Good point, but how can you justify a 50% increase in less than a year? That's what I have a problem with. Not how much they charge, but the increase in price. I don't see how anything can be justified. A 50% increase? What's the inflation rate at the moment? Massive rip-off. Had a 2105 Leaf. Wow, he's in the future. And never took it in for service. Turned it in on a 2018 Leaf, rinse repeat. I mean, realistically, you could actually never service an EV and you would not have a problem, but ultimately you probably will come across, or you may come across a problem, I guess, when you come and trade it in or sell it on. Even if it's useless, people seem to want a full stamped service history these days, especially on newer cars. Biggest spend on Zoe was tyres. £400. Wow, that's expensive. I mean, I had 2 new tyres on the Leaf in nearly 30,000 miles, and I think they were about 80 odd pounds each, and they were very good tyres. Do it yourself. You know, I have thought about that. I really have. But I always think that it's going to bite you in the ass when you come and trade it in or part exchange it. They're going to say, "Oh, well, yeah, you have serviced it, but you've done it yourself." I mean, if you're looking at 2 identical cars, one had been serviced by Nissan, one had been serviced by the guy that owned it, you'd probably choose that. So you may end up losing a bit there. But anyway, yeah, that's worth looking into. You are required to pay the servicing charge if you go PCP. I think that is actually written into PCP agreements, but you don't have to do it. However, they do charge you for it. They do penalise you financially for not doing that. Zoe B service, which I'm guessing is the bigger one, £77. £213 for brake fluid, cabin filter, £30. £213 for brake fluid. Or is that including that? Tell us the piss story. I can't. Well, I guess I can now, but ultimately someone pissed on the car. They pissed in a bucket and then washed the car with the contents of the bucket on the dashcam and then replaced the car, which was very nice. That's how I ended up with 2 Leafs in the space of a year. Yes, I wish I could put that video back up, and there was never anything in writing or anything, so I could put it back up now, but ultimately I agreed not to put it up, or should I say I agreed to take it down if they sorted it out, and ultimately they replaced the car, not for free or anything, but I did very well out of it, shall we say. So I think it's only right that I stick to that. It's going back to tomorrow for repairs. I'll check any wet patches. Yeah, so yeah, they've obviously damaged your car. This is why a dashcam pays for itself 20-fold. I mean, I've got a video on my channel which some of you may or may have not seen about when the car was 7 weeks old. Someone hit it when it was parked up and didn't stop. £630 worth of damage, and that was not going through insurance. They paid for that, all because of the dashcam. I wouldn't have known who had done it if it wasn't for that. So anyone that's got a car without a dashcam is a moron, to be honest. It's paid for itself twice, many times over, and you just get it. It really is worth doing, especially if the dealers are picking the car up to take it to service, because you never know what they're going to do. £150 to check the brake fluid, wash the car, and put in about 2cc of washer fluid. That sounds about right. Zoe Key battery, £15. Poundland bought 4 plus 4 others for £1, of course. Yes, I have a few car key fob batteries, of course, which in the manual it tells you how to replace the battery, so you certainly don't need them to do that one. If it's optional, tell them not to. Thinking of getting an EV, thanks for getting from your channel, thank you. I'll mention now, by the way, Super Chat is enabled on this. I have not had a Super Chat yet, and to be honest, I didn't really know what it was until recently. What about the motors that the batteries power? Don't they need servicing? No. There is no. Although there might be with Teslas with coolant, but ultimately it's an electric motor has pretty much one moving part. There is no oil. Again, I think some of them may have coolant, the Teslas, but in terms of the Leaf and Zoes and that, no, there's nothing to service on the motor. Because they're just ultra reliable. I mean, think about it. The electric cars are relatively new, but electric motors have been around probably longer than the petrol engine, so they're very, very reliable and proven. Dealers always unplug my dash cam. Yeah. Probably after mine went around. Mine wasn't unplugged last time, but I have heard a few people saying that they unplugged it. As long as they plug it back in again when they drive it back home, that's the only thing I stipulate. Because if I don't know how many people seem to use this, but if you book your service in advance, so for example, I run mine today, and it's about a 2-week lead time. If you book your service for 3 weeks from now, for example, they will come and pick your car up, drive it there, service it, and drop it back off again, which I find very convenient. And everyone does that. Every manufacturer I've ever used, BMW, Nissan, Ford, they've all offered that service. So you might as well use it. Depreciation on EVs seems high. Anyway, I can't see much being high with non-Nissan servicing. Depreciation isn't high on electric cars. For example, if I total up how much this Leaf 30 has cost me, and I will be keeping it at the end of the PCP, so if I add the balloon payment onto the payments I've made on a monthly basis, I will have paid a total of, I think I got it to something like £17,000. That's for a 30 kilowatt hour battery owned Ascenta. 17 grand. It's currently worth, if I sold it privately, about 13.5. That's in 2 years. So I would consider that very good depreciation. And in the last year, a 30 Leaf Techna hasn't dropped in value at all. So 1 year ago, let's say it was worth £16,000 for a Leaf 30 Techna. It's still worth £16,000 now. I think it might be dropping slightly, but ultimately they haven't gone down at all, and they're a year older. So EV depreciation isn't what you think it is. Don't look at the retail price. That's a lot of rubbish, and very few people pay it. Of course, when they get more common and popular, they probably will depreciate as much as a normal car does. Perhaps the piss video might reappear if you don't get your referral money. I'm not getting my referral money. I'll tell you that now. I won't tell you fully what's happened yet. I think I can do, but ultimately they're paying for this service, and I'm getting something off the balloon payment at the end. So I'm not getting the referral money, or I'm not getting as much as I should in money terms, but they've done something anyway. My local Nissan dealer are very poor in service. I'm glad to be handing my car back in the next couple of months. I assume that's a Leaf. Might not have been too bad. I mean, the one I bought it from was pretty shocking because they didn't even set up the the Leaf Spy, not the Leaf Spy, sorry, the Nissan Connect app. I had to take the car back for them to reset the telematics unit. Other than that, I've never really had any dealings. I've used a different dealership for servicing, a closer one. They just came and picked it up and dropped it off again. Done. So I've never had any dealings with them. But yeah, I have yet to come across a dealer network that's been good. I mean, I remember buying my first BMW. They were brilliant. They gave me videos. You know, when I was thinking about buying it, they showed me videos of the car. They couldn't do anything extra. They were phenomenal. And then after I put my deposit down, it's like I'd disappeared. That were it. I'd gone. So it seems that every dealership, every manufacturer dealership network, it's just shocking. Yeah, when you think of what you should get in customer service terms, it's terrible. Dee is getting her Leaf this month and wants dashcam. What one should we get? It's been a while since I've looked at one, but I have got the Transcend dashcams. It's been a couple of years since I got it fit. I'll have a quick look now. But ultimately, I think it's a 220 that I got. I think they've got the 230 out now. So yeah, I've never had a problem with that. And use it all the time. In both cars, my mum and dad have got one in theirs. And as it is Amazon Prime Day in just under 2 weeks, I strongly suggest that would be a good time to buy one. Probably about £100 maybe, and I think it was £35-40 to get it professionally fit. So it's operating when the car is packed up, when the car's off. I want my dashcam on all the time if I choose to. Don't have it installed so it just runs off the ignition. The only problems I've had dashcam wise where I've needed the dashcam are when the car is parked up. So get it installed properly for the sake of £30 odd. Believe me, it's worth it. Is the tyre wear better or worse on the Leaf versus your Mini? It's hard to say because I typically only drive the Mini kind of for fun things, and you know, the Leaf gets the lion's share of the mileage, which is commuting, boring stuff. The Mini is fun, so I tend to put my foot down more. But EVs are very torquey. Having said that, I did get, I think, 18,000 miles, maybe 17. I think it could be, yeah, it's something like 17, 18,000 miles out of the fronts on my Leaf. I've still got the original rears on, although they'll need replacing soon, and the car's on nearly 29,000 miles. So yeah, I think just because sometimes you have to drive economically, you probably get better tyre wear, but ultimately it's how you drive. If I drove the Mini economically constantly, that would last longer. Yeah, I don't, so it probably doesn't. And a few punches later, I've had to replace tyres before their time anyway. Zoe prices went up and are hanging there due to the car's popularity and the lack of stock. Yes, no one can buy an EV at the moment because there's such a massive lead time on practically everyone out there. So that is keeping the used prices very high in relative terms. Were you driving it like you stole it? Driving what? Oh, sorry, he's referring to someone else. People having conversations, it's confusing. Okay, D's paying 16,000 for a 30 kilowatt hour Techna. I've seen others for 15, but was comparing with new dealer prices. 16, it depends on the age, of course. For that, I'll have to see, you know, you'll have to send me the link. See if it sounds about right, but it depends how old it is. They were always meant to collect my car for servicing, and again rang them every 2 weeks to check. The day before I rang, and they said that they had me down for dropping the car off. I hadn't had that, to be honest. But I guess it does happen. But it's servicing again. What probably happened there is the guy was off or forgot or couldn't be bothered to go and pick it up, so they made something up. Servicing price query. Why do you think the higher price is wrong? Perhaps they didn't make the price high enough last time, and Nissan a charity. Of course they're not a charity, but why would you make something £100 for 5 years? I think it were 5 years, something like that, and then go to 150. I don't mind an increase. I mean, they went from 100 to 129, and then within about 3 or 4 months, they went from 129 to 150. That's my issue with this. Within 12 months, it hasn't gone from 100 to 150. It's gone from 100 to 129 to 150 in less than a year. They're not a charity, no, but ultimately, all they did is plug the car in to check it on diagnostics and give me screen wash. If you think that's worth £150 for 20 minutes work, and that's on the dash cam, it's not a guess. You know, I think you know, if an electrician or a plumber charged you that, you'd be about right, because they would spend an hour on your work, whereas someone plugging the car in and giving you screen wash, 150 quid. It's not a skilled job. The servicing, I mean, obviously it is a skilled job, but it isn't. Maybe I'm saying this wrong, but ultimately it's the price increase I have a problem with. If it was always £129 and went to 150, I'd be happy with that. If it went from 100 to 129 or something, but a 50% increase, you tell me another product that has gone up by that much, where labour is involved, and you go to a restaurant and see your favourite meal go up by 50%, you won't go back. I don't know, a TV, anything really, any sort of service. What else do you get? Imagine someone comes and services your boiler for, what, I don't know, £60, and then all of a sudden it goes to 110. You'd want to know why. Hang on a minute, it's the same service. How can you justify that? And it's the justification of the price increase, not the price in the first place, if that makes sense. Right, where was I? Front tyres of my Leaf Centre did 40,000 miles, obviously not driving it hard enough, and had 2 mil left when replaced. Rears did 30-ish. Replaced early due to wear on the outer edge. Yes, I have noticed that. Ultimately, how tyres wear is completely dependent on how you drive them, of course. Like any other car. My Zoe tyre wear on front was not great, 17,000. Still pretty good for a car. Might have lasted a bit longer. Right rear exploded. That's not good. 2016, she's getting it from a firm we saw it fully charged live. eco cars, I'm guessing. It sounds about right, does that? I would say, yeah. Seems pretty good. And obviously it's still well in warranty, so there's no problems there. Overall, happy with my 2018 Leaf, but after 10,000 miles, I still believe that ProPilot is a gimmick. You've done 10,000 miles already? Wow. I suppose it has been 6 months, but that's quite well going. I don't know. I've yet to experience ProPilot. I've obviously used what do they call it, autopilot on Teslas, and I thought for long motorway journeys, autopilot was brilliant. I got there much fresher. It made it pass quicker. I felt safer, and I was doing it properly. I'm not, I wasn't like this. So I don't know. I'm yet to test that. I can get hold of a new Leaf for 2 days when I take mine in for servicing, so I may end up doing that. Who knows? I service Zoe and Leaf vehicles. I don't see that increase in wages. Exactly. I didn't think of that. Yes. No, they are not charities, but have they increased the wage of the people they're paying by 50%? Probably not. Probably not even 5 or even 2. Main problem with servicing has been only one qualified EV mechanic and was off one time when organised service. Remember when prices rise by 5%, VAT is added, etc. But I agree 50% seems mad. I think it's extortionate, quite frankly. Petrol prices go up a couple of pence, 5p. Was it a month or 2 back? It went up 10p, the largest rise in the month or something like that. And in percentage terms, that was probably about 6% or something. And it was in the papers. People were kicking off, and that was a 6% rise. This is a 50. I want an EV. I have an 8,000 budget. Trying to find a Leaf or Zoe, but can't figure out the Zoe and don't want a battery lease. Good luck finding a battery-owned Zoe. I think last I looked, there were 3 on Auto Trader of any age. For £6,000, you will get probably like a 3-year-old Zoe, the smaller battery version. But obviously you've got the battery lease on top, so that's worth looking at. You will definitely get a Leaf 24 for £8,000. About 3 or 4 year old, I'd say. 2014, maybe 15 at a push, but probably 2014. How much charge should you expect when you collect a brand new EV? What, as in, do they charge it when it's new? As in, do the dealer charge it for when you drive home? Well, I would expect it to be fully charged when I pick the car up. I guess it depends on where you live. But I don't know. You might want to clarify that one. Sidewall possibly hit, not repairable tyre. Now I have a spare. Yeah, of course, the Leaf, Zoe's, all EVs, unless you specify one, don't come with spare tyres. And I almost got, my wife almost got caught with that. In fact, to be honest, most cars don't. The Mini doesn't come with a spare tyre either. The only optional extra they have for Minis, for anyways, run flat tyres, which completely ruin the drive of the car. Take it back and get the pollen filter replaced. It's part of the service. The car should be up and down on the ramp. Full check underneath and tyre report plus battery test. Did you get a check sheet? No, I didn't get a check sheet, but the car was dropped off. I will, however, be asking about that this time. Are there any independent EV mechanics who will service and stamp book? I believe there are. I know there's someone at the moment looking into doing a mobile service. I mean, the fact that you can service EVs more, on a mobile front easily suggests how easy it is to do. Someone here has just paid £250 for a pair of tyres and some oil in a diesel car. I regret not buying the Leaf when I took a 4-day test drive last year. Yes, I mean, ultimately, this is kind of why this video is here. People say, they're so much cheaper to service than an ICE car, and they are. But when Nissan closed that gap for no apparent reason, it's negating that benefit. So I don't know. I mean, I guess for them, they've just created something which ultimately isn't serviceable. So they're trying to justify it in a way that's not justifiable. But ultimately, it's their fault. They've created this, and I've never had an answer from them. The dealer told me himself that these are standardised prices by Nissan, and that seems to be the case because everywhere you look, it seems to be the same price. The fact you can book it online and on Nissan's website, and it gives you the pricing, suggests it is a standardised price. It's not dealer based or individual dealer based. Excuse me. What sort of business are you in to do 24,000 miles per year? I'm not sure if that's for me, but I do about, well, I do about 20 a year in both cars, but the Leaf's on almost 30,000 in 2 years. I work in IT basically, but I go around in education, so I go from various places all the time, school to school to school, so I'm always driving around. As long as I use official parts and follow the service schedule, you're fine. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, I have had a couple of new cars and each only had about 50 miles in the tank when I drove them off the forecourt. Would an EV be at 100% on collection? Yes, it would be, because it's so easy to plug them in. It will cost them pennies. Any car I've ever picked up, as in petrol and whatnot before, a new car, has always had a full tank with it. But that's probably because I chose to pick it up myself rather than get the car delivered. So I think that was in lieu of. I guess it depends on the dealer, really. But yeah, an EV costs like what, £2 for them to fill it up, so to speak. So there should be absolutely no excuse that isn't on 100%. I'm going to burp now. Pardon me. Excuse me. Battery on Zoe, unlikely. Because even when it was available, most took out lease deals, I guess, because lease is much better. Yeah, the Zoe for me is a great car. I mean, I've obviously done a recent video on this, but I hate battery leasing. It is the bane of the EV world. Nissan have stopped doing battery leasing, and you can buy out the battery lease, so you can change a leased car into a normal one. And no other manufacturer does battery leasing. So why Renault persist on doing this is beyond me. It does my head in. And I mean, think about it. If you're paying £1,000 a year roughly, if you do average mileage, you're looking at buying a car for what, when they're about 8-year-old. This is the problem when they're about 8-year-old, you'll be buying a Zoe for about £2,000. I mean, you can get a 3-4-year-old one for about £6,000 now. So you get a £2,000 car that costs you £1,000 a year in battery rental. It just doesn't make sense on used cars. So I just wish they'd stop it. Perhaps they're not making enough money on EVs, so they're grabbing some back on services. Possible, but as far as I know, most of the money goes to the dealer, not Nissan. So yeah, I mean, the current price of the new Leaf is much higher than the previous Leaf. The previous Leaf, the shape I have, for example, it was definitely subsidised, because it was trying to tempt people into EVs, the early adopters. They were very uncommon, whereas EVs are getting more mainstream now, and I think Nissan are wanting to start making money from it. I mean, the new Leaf is, if you include the deposit and monthly payments, is about double the price that the previous Leafs were going for in kind of PCP terms. The monthly payments are a lot higher, and the deposits are a lot higher as well. And yet the list price is about the same. So they're definitely trying to make a bit more money out of this one, which I don't mind, of course, but that's the price of the car. It's the servicing I have a problem with. I wonder why I'm not being invited to any Nissan events when I keep on doing stuff like this. But you shouldn't have to complain. I have a YouTube channel, and it benefited me when I did the rant video, when the piss video happened. You shouldn't need to have a YouTube channel to get Nissan to respond. I did that rant video about the referral service and the head office, I forgot what they called it now. Basically, about as high as you can go in terms of speaking to a normal person. I'm not about the CEO now. It went straight there. They contacted me, and it was dealt with. But I shouldn't have to have you shouldn't have to have a YouTube channel to get that kind of service, and that's my problem. Nissan seem to have got worse over the years since their kind of merge, if you like, with Renault was made more solid. It's like they've become like a Ford and a Vauxhall. They just want numbers in, numbers out, and this is just something else, which seems like they're just interested in money before the customer experience. And I know you have to obviously look after your business. Been there, done that, but ultimately customer satisfaction is what keeps people coming back. The Leaf is a great car. I wouldn't have I'm my second, of course, but There's a lot of people that have been really annoyed with what Nissan have done, how Nissan have treated me, and I've been pushing their cars for 2-3 years now, and this is how they treat you. Not with a service. I'm on about the referral and various other things that have happened that I've mentioned. And how can you possibly, if you treat someone that's been pushing your cars for 3 years, how do they treat the normal person that just walks in? EV Opinion that was on it earlier, his car was damaged during the service. I know that can happen, of course, but ultimately it's gone downhill. It definitely has gone downhill for me, and Renault has probably never been that good either. Tesla, I believe, meant to be good at their customer services, but they don't have franchise dealers, although you will probably end up paying for that, I guess. At least there's an option to own the battery now with the new Zoes. You could with the old ones, it was just extremely rare. Can't imagine many people going for renting batteries now. With Zoes, I think they pretty much are, but obviously there's a new Zoe out and such a lead time. I'm not sure who is buying them, because I think there's about 6 to 9 month lead time on a Zoe, which is kind of the same on a lot of cars these days. Hopefully independent garage will soon get equipment to service EVs. Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that would effectively stop anyone from servicing it is unfamiliarity. But I mean, they're just cars at the end of the day, and the computer equipment, the diagnostic equipment. That's what stops people from doing it. Having, if something really goes wrong, you're gonna have to take it to Nissan. So, other than that, I don't see a reason why anyone can't service the car. I mean, it's a car. If anything, it's easier to look at. It's still got brakes. It's still got brake fluid. It's still got tyres and bushes and all that sort of stuff to look after. Servicing has gone up 50% since you forced Nissan to use actual screen wash. Yes, I'm not piss. Well, to be fair, they put the piss on the car wash, the car shampoo. But for all we know, they could have filled it with screen wash, I suppose. Maybe it's on my fault. Maybe I've been having a go at them. It's probably worth mentioning as well that they've stopped the referral service deal thing that they had with everyone about a week after I put the video up, weirdly. The new Zoe, the 41 kilowatt battery, if you have 6 months to wait, it's much more expensive. Yes, battery rent isn't a bad thing. I see it more as an extended warranty, as they will replace it if it goes below 75%. And you get roadside assistance. Now, this is why I think you're wrong on that, because the Leaf and the iZoe, the battery-owned Zoe, both come with an 8-year, 100,000 mile warranty. So you're paying for battery rental to keep the warranty on something that has an 8-year warranty on it. You get roadside assistance with the servicing. So I'm not sure how they can say you get that as part of the battery rental, because they say that you get that with each service. You get roadside assistance. So they're selling you the same thing twice. And when you've got an 8-year, 100,000 mile warranty, I really don't see the point. If you go past 100,000 miles, that's about the only thing that I can think of that would make sense. But over 8 years, you'll pay. Well, I've figured it out. On a Zoe, I would have paid about over £8,000 in 8 years if I had a Zoe on the rental, and it will cost you about £3,500 to replace the battery. So if you rent an EV for more than 4 years, as in the battery for an EV, you've paid more than it would have cost you just to replace the batteries anyway. So factor in the 8-year warranty and the cost to replace the batteries, which only will come down. I can't see the point of a lease. Well, no other manufacturer does it other than Renault. That, I think, is telling. BMW said that their batteries are designed to last longer than the car, a minimum of 10 years before it drops to that. And again, they have an 8-year warranty on it. So, yeah, effectively, you're leasing a battery that's warranted for 8 years anyway. It's just throwing money away, unless you're going to get a really old car. When they're very old, maybe it'll work out, but by then you'll have paid so much in battery rental, you'll have paid for the battery twice over. Oxford dealer said 18-month wait on Zoe. Ooh, that's probably certain specs, I can believe that. My local Nissan can't even service the Leaf. Now, as far as I know, every Nissan dealership can service a Leaf. Which one is that? That's new on me. Don't know about that one. Ooh, somebody's tweeted. There we go. Right, okay. One independent garage said yes, no problem. Just have to change the oil. In fact, I've had a few people who've showed us the receipt from Nissan for the service, and it still says oil and filter included. You think they'd have updated the system by now? My Zoe is 2014, 4 years old. I've heard you might be able to buy out the rental agreement after 5 years, but could be wrong. I've not heard that. Would be interesting. You can obviously on a Leaf, but in 4 years you'll have paid probably as much as a battery rental battery would have cost, and it's still under warranty anyway. So this is why I don't like battery rental. It's something which were done when I thought people wouldn't trust batteries, and they genuinely didn't know how long they'd last. So they thought it'd make people feel safe because the batteries looked after. And as we're finding out, batteries are lasting phenomenally longer than even they could predict. I mean, hell, on Teslas you get an 8-year infinite mile warranty on the battery. 8 years infinite mile, truly infinite as well. So yeah, it's. I think batteries aren't the problem really. I think that they will probably outlive the car. The only thing I got from my Leaf's last service was a screen wash refill. It was included in the purchase price though, as is the next one. What's the difference between an interim and full service? As far as I can tell, just a brake fluid. I mean, it says brake fluid. Now, I know with someone else's Ford, they just checked the brake fluid. It didn't mean a change. So I'm going to ask that about the Leaf, whether they actually change it at every 2 years, or just check to see if it needs it. Have Nissan stopped the Flex? Yes, they have, and you can buy out a Flex car. So if you do find a Flex car, you can buy out the lease. But every single dealer that sells a used Leaf buys out the battery before they put it for sale, because it's so much easier to sell, and that's coming from the dealerships. Right, New Zealand, of course. Right, fair enough. Well, everyone in the UK at least can, and every Nissan dealer in the UK can service them. Obviously not in New Zealand. But you do live in New Zealand, which is a very nice place, apparently. There is talk on the 4th or 5th to buy out the battery for the Zoe. Interesting. Hello, Lewis. Yes. Well, that would be, yeah. I mean, if you can buy out a Zoe battery, it would probably cost you 2 or 3 grand, I reckon, based on Nissan prices. That changes things all of a sudden. I mean, massively. I mean, Lewis, you know, Lewis owns eCars Trading. He sells electric cars, used electric cars. If you could buy out the battery on the Zoes you had, and then obviously change the price to reflect that, would that make your life easier? Every Nissan dealership buys out the battery lease, pretty much every, because they're so much easier to sell, because no one wants a lease. So that would be a good thing. That would be a very good thing. I bought it second hand in January, so only paying rental for 6 months. If the 5-year thing is true, I wouldn't have to overpay that much. We'll see. I mean, Nissan's prices to buy it out are about the same as you would have saved anyway. For example, if you had a 2-year-old, if mine was a 2-year-old leased battery Leaf, it would probably cost me about 3.5 grand to buy the lease out, which is about what I'll have saved minus what I've paid in battery rent. So ultimately, the 5 grand-ish you would have saved on the purchase price, you end up paying anyway via battery lease or at the end of it. So it doesn't work out better to buy a battery car out. You might as well just buy one straight off. My agreement says lease cannot be bought out at present. Yes, but Nissan agreement said the same, and then they changed their mind on that. So you can. And you actually get a new V5 because it changes the V5 from a leased battery, from flex to a non-flex. So whatever the agreement says, anything can be changed, because Nissan did the same. You can buy out Zoe battery in France currently. Yes, actually, I think I've heard that. So why not to the rest of Europe? I rang Renault earlier, and it is on the cards. Well, that's a very good thing. That's a very good thing. I'd be interested to know what the prices are, because you can get like a 2-year-old Zoe for about 8 grand. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how much to do. I might bring it back into the realm of possibilities. How long before we see electric hot hatches? Well, I think it's based on battery size. Obviously, hot hatches are going to use, like they do in petrol, they'll use fuel a lot quicker. So there's no, for example, if they did a faster version of the Leaf, instead of having 150-ish miles, say, had 110, people won't buy it because the range isn't low enough. So I think we're a good, I don't know, 5 years off yet. I mean, I know they're on about doing that with the Nissan Leaf Nismo, but as far as I know, it's got the same motor in as the current Leaf anyway, which is 150 brake horsepower. It's quite quick in relative terms. Right, Lewis, this is from eCars Trading. Yes, but at the moment, used Renault Zoes are very popular, especially at the £4,000 to £6,000 mark. The reason why people are buying these is because all of the good EVs are not out for a couple of years. Yes, that is a very good point. I'm in the same situation. I have a Leaf, I have a Tesla Model 3 first day reservation, and I want to mention that in a second. Remind me if I forget. So it's a stopgap car. You need a stopgap. Everything is coming out in 2020, it seems. You know, new Volkswagens EVs and the Tesla Model 3, hopefully. And a lot of manufacturers are saying 2019, 2020 is when we're bringing out a version. So a lot of people are thinking, well, I don't want a new Leaf 40, for example. I don't. But I need something until my Tesla comes up, for example. So yes, I can see why people are getting a Leaf as a Zoe, battery lease Zoe as a stopgap. It gives you that option. So yeah, I think that's we're in a bit of a limbo at the moment. Everything's got a massive lead time, and everything that everyone really wants, like the proper Leaf, 60 kilowatt with battery thermal management, is a couple of years off. I saw as well in the news that you can buy the battery lease for the Zoe and the Twizy. I've never heard of for the Twizy, although someone said in Norway apparently you can buy a fully battery on Twizy. So there you go, Lewis. If you buy a Twizy from Norway, there'll be no battery rental on it. And then, you know, it's in the middle, so there's no right and left hand drive with Twizys. Would I drive back from Norway in a Twizy? No, the hell. What the hell? Oh, God. Oh, it was hard enough driving down south from Norway. It'd take about 4 weeks. Right, where are we? It's a low-cost option to try an electric car before they move to one of the new, more expensive EVs coming out. Yes. I mean, £4,000 to £6,000, and you've got to factor in the battery lease. But it is good entry level. What beer are you drinking? It is Timothy Taylor's Landlord, which is brewed. Well, it used to be brewed about 1.5 miles from where I used to live, where I grew up, near Keighley. The best you're ever going to find in any pub. Rumour is Renault have been shipping returned lease Zoes overseas and reselling them with no battery rental. Wouldn't surprise me. The new Honda looks like an EV hot hatch. Not sure which one you mean on that one. You can buy all this in France, but very expensive, €9,500, 10% per year or something like that. Oh! I have my first super chat ever in the history of the channel. £5 from Dan Lab. Thank you for your great content. Thank you very much. I will. Oh, I'm gonna have to take a picture. Where's my phone? I'm gonna have to take a picture of that because I think it's worthy of a post. The first ever super chat. I have thought about doing Patreon, but quite frankly, I don't know why anybody would want to pay a regular basis for this channel at this time. I won't be doing a Patreon thing unless I can offer you something that's worth paying for. So things like this, one-offs, are brilliant. Ultimately, I spend about 5 times more on this channel than I ever get in YouTube revenue. I'm not doing it for money, but it really does help, especially when you have to rent things to test them. So yes, thank you, Dan Lab. That's brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Super chat, look it up. Oh, and I want to mention subscribing. Quite a few people have said that they've missed the live streams. They haven't got notification on the phone. It's not come up. What you have to do is click on the bell icon next to where it says subscribe. So if you look on the channel where it says subscribe, there's a little bell. If you click on that, it comes up with another window, and by default you only get some notifications. If you change that to all, you will get all notifications. So as soon as I do a live stream, you'll get notification, or anything for that matter. So that I didn't even know that was a thing until a couple of months ago. So click on the bell next to subscribe and you'll get notifications, because I want to do more of these live streams excuse me, on a regular basis. I'm hoping to do this on a weekly basis. It won't replace the videos I normally do. This is not a replacement of like the edited videos, but editing videos takes a huge amount of time. If I've always said if I film for 1 hour, I will spend 4 editing it. I have a full-time job, a life, a family, blah blah blah. So this is why live streaming can increase content, but all I have to do is talk to you, and then that's it. There's no editing. Press a button, I'm done. So yes, this is really good. This is good. Yes, super chat. Am I right in saying that Volkswagen have announced the next gen Beetle will be 4-door and only 100% electric? I have heard something about a Beetle, and it wouldn't surprise me if they change that into to an electric. To be honest, everything's going to be EV soon. BMW are changing all their current 1, 3, 5 series to full EVs eventually, rather than bring out separate cars. The Leaf is a solid car. It's just Nissan that sucks. Yeah, that's probably a good point. Excuse me. Read the hot hatch. Get a Merc B250E. And remap the onboard Tesla motor controller. The only problem with a 250E, and some of those were going immensely cheap, was that you can't rapid charge them. But other than that, very good cars. Looking to keep this Zoe and use as a trade-in for a newer version in future. I don't think I'll have any problems selling that. So yeah, I think EVs are holding the values very well at the moment. Any plans to test the Kia EV? I'd love to, but it's getting hold of them. I'm not anywhere near big enough to get one from the manufacturer. There's no one dealership-wise that would give me one unattended, certainly, for more than an hour. You get 20 minutes with a guy sat next to you. So my biggest problem by a country mile is getting hold of the cars themselves. Teslas and things like that I've done, but I've rented them, and they're very expensive to rent. You can't rent EVs typically, other than Teslas. The recent glutter videos I've done, there's always the i3, were because eVision car rental gave me them for the day, and I give them publicity. So things are starting, but ultimately I'm minute in YouTube terms, so I'm not going to get anything from Kia. If someone's got one, or if there's a dealership that wants to give me one for even half a day, by all means. But that is the biggest problem, getting hold of stuff. I'd love to get a Twizy for commute, but don't want another rental. Yeah, that is the problem. The Twizy rental is disproportionately expensive and rather uncomfortable. And I know Luce has got another one now. You did drive on the coldest day of the year. I definitely did. That was chuffing freezing. My next Zoe will have no lease on battery. No, I agree. I think you can get the iZoe, the new ones now. I know what's it called? Ian Sampson. He's got an iZoe now, and I think he paid about 17.5 for it, and that's battery owned. So that's pretty good. Ooh, another super chat. We've got another one. Peter Roberts, thank you very much for that. Every little helps. Believe me, $1.99 doesn't sound like a lot, but it all adds up. Just look at what Fully Charged have done with Patreon. A couple of quid here and there from loads of people mounts up to the point. I mean, every penny I get for this channel in terms of things like Super Chat, and if I ever did something like Patreon, and the advertising revenue as well, which is tiny, will go back into it. So if someone suddenly dumped, I don't know, a few £100 on my lap, I would use that for doing a stupid journey across Europe or something, or I would rent a Model X and do something for that for a day or two. It wouldn't go in my pocket. It would go into doing some cool stuff. I'm not doing this YouTube channel to make money. That will never happen. I don't intend it being a full-time job. God, that would be awful. But ultimately, it does enable me to meet people and do cool stuff. that otherwise I wouldn't normally. So yes, this really does help. So thank you, Mr. Peter Roberts. Oh, I got another one. Wow, I need to mention this more often. James Reed, thank you. I'll come to you in a second. I just need to go down the list of chat. Zoe charging more flexible. Maybe. Leaf DC charging not very much available off the main motorways. 22 kilowatt charging available. See, the Leaf DC charging for me is, the CHAdeMO is far more prevalent than AC charging. I wouldn't consider 22 kilowatt rapid charging. It's less than half the speed of a Leaf. Well, assuming you can charge the new Leaf, of course. So I know what you mean. There's more of them, but it's a slower charge rate. So I guess it just balances out. EV second-hand market values are rising. Yes, absolutely. I mean, you're not going to make money on buying one, but ultimately you're not going to lose money either. When I bought this Leaf 2 years ago, I assumed I would be handing it back at the end of the PCP. Pardon me, be a burp. Because the balloon payment was always going to be less than it would be worth, privately or trading. But it's gone completely the other way. It's now worth about £2,000 more than the balloon payment is on the car. So, very good bargain, I think. Right, Ian paid $16,250. Prices have gone up since then. So $16,250 for an Zoe, a battery-owned Zoe, 41 kilowatt one, is an extremely good price. That is a bargain. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't have a Zoe, as I've said in the videos that I did before, because it's too small for me. The rear bench doesn't split, which is ridiculous, and I use that all the time. We have a child, so we often need to do that. But yeah, ultimately, I would have a Zoe if it wasn't for a few basic things, like mainly size, because they're very good looking cars. Very good looking. Probably the best looking EV out there. What do you think? James Reed, thank you again for the super chat. £1. So that's what? £2, £3, £8 for one super chat, which is probably about a quarter of my monthly YouTube earnings in one live chat. So that's why things like this are really important. So I really do appreciate this. Thinking of buying a used 30 kilowatt hour Leaf, which, by the way, I think is the best value EV at the moment. Asked about extended test drive, possibly a couple of days. Yeah, Nissan no longer do the 4-day test drive, unfortunately, even for the older Leaf. I was told today that you can get 2 days on the new Leaf, so presumably on the used one as well. But to be honest, 2 days it should be enough to see if it fits your lifestyle. It's very rare to get any unaccompanied test drive with cars these days, let alone 2 days. But yeah, I think the best value EV out there at the moment is a 30 kilowatt hour used Leaf. You get the 8-year warranty. It's no more than two and a bit year old. And it hasn't got the rapid charging problem nor the price tag of the 40 Leaf. If I actually watch the ad rather than clicking skip ad, do you get anything extra? That's a good point. I've recently seen this on a few other channels. If you watch the full advert, the 30-second advert, if it comes up, then apparently that does increase monetization. I've got an itchy nose tonight. It does increase monetization. So yes, if you have the time, let the ad run all to the end rather than skipping it after 5 seconds, which I do, and quite frankly, by all means, do the same. But yeah, that in itself will be a great help. So yeah, that'd be brilliant. Or even click on the advert. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to buy anything. Just click on it and then close it again. Bugger didn't see where to write the message with the donation. I'm going to say I'm even tighter than the last guy. So I see a pattern here. It's going to be 50p next, which is fine. That'd be great. But no, I appreciate this. I really do. And I know some people, I've saved some people thousands of pounds by pointing them in the right direction. So I like to think I'm good value for it. So right away, Zoe, Ian Sampson was good deal, but he had no trading, and he had good timing as well. Yeah, see, that's one thing which I do a lot, which a lot of people don't. I nearly always, because sometimes convenience is worth something too, I nearly always buy a car out at the end of a deal, whether it's via loan or borrowing money, and then sell it privately, you get a bit more for it, but ultimately it simplifies the purchase of whatever you're getting considerably. Speaking of purchasing as well, they do a few EVs, but I've bought a couple of new cars from Drive the Deal. I'm not sponsored by them anyway, but they have always been considerably cheaper. I saved about $2,500 on the Polo GTI that I bought before it got nicked, compared to every other dealership I visited. So look at that, and Google as well. I did a Google about a week ago, and I found a Leaf Techna, the 40 kilowatt hour, brand new one, for £23,500. So maybe 24, sorry, £24,500. So there are deals to be had out there if you're willing to just Google and look around. Don't just look at dealers. I bought 2 cars online, effectively, and the first time I walked into the dealership was when I bought the car. So, yeah, don't be afraid about going online and doing that. CarWow as well, they're pretty good. Don't the experienced Centre Milton Keynes do an extended test drive? Yeah, for some of the cars they do. Not all of them due to insurance, but this is the problem I had, because I was going to rent a couple of cars from them to do videos, like the Zoe. And I could have got one for, I think, 4 days. They might even do a week. But you're limited to 300 miles, which means I could get it home, but I couldn't get it back again. And then there's quite high excess miles. And they said, it's something like £1,000 goes on your debit card, like it gets held on your debit card for up to a month, or the same on your credit card. I don't have a credit card. I think that, apart from an emergency one. So it's £1,000, and you get that back with usually within 2 weeks, but it can be up to 6. So that completely put me off. And 300 mile limit. I mean, I'm 150 miles from the experience centre. So yeah, you can do that, and it's worth visiting. But there are a few caveats. I tend to skip on the bigger channels, and if the ad is longer than the content that I'm trying to watch, yeah. I mean, I always skip. Excuse me, I always skip adverts, and by all means, do the same thing. It's really we're talking pennies. I mean, there's not so much these days, but there's a bit of a myth that that YouTube earns a lot of money for advertising. You get a few of these that get millions of views and have millions of pounds apparently, and then that's it. It's not the case. You get pounds. I mean, if I do a video that's successful, it might gain me 15 quid in a year of being up there, and I've typically spent hours and hours and hours and hours doing each video. So yeah, if anyone wants to start a YouTube channel and think it's going to be a job, good luck on that one. You have to have something very unique, or be very good to have a successful channel. But yeah, no, keep doing it. How does the donation thing work? If you click on it's like a dollar sign next to a smiley face, or it is on my window anyway, and then that brings up another window, and you can pretty much, I think it's self-explanatory from that point, with what you can do. Basically, the idea of Super Chat is you can donate to the channel, of course, but you also get a big in-your-face comment. So it's a Super Chat, it stands out. We're happy with our 2015 24 Leaf, £10,000, 150 quid a month, £3,000 balloon payment. Hopefully we'll be more than that at the end. I'm guessing that's 3 years. Yeah, you probably have £1,000 or £2 in that, I reckon. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know if there's interest on that, but a £10,000 loan, I've found recently with most manufacturers that it's cheaper to go to your bank and get a normal loan, typically at 3%, and then just have a standard HP loan. You can do it over 5 years, so it makes the monthly payments equivalent to PCP, but of course you'll own it at the end of that. So sometimes it is worth looking at refinancing that. Get a loan for £10,000 and have a look at the interest rate. You can actually see, save a fair bit. I mean, when we bought the Mini, they wanted nearly 10% on the finance of the Mini. I thought, sod that, so I extended the loan to 5 years, a standard loan rather than a PCP, and got it through my bank. And it was slightly more monthly payments, but 3% instead of 10. Christ am I. When I bought my Leaf, both Leafs, they were doing 0% finance, so it was a no-brainer, but I don't think they do that anymore. My channel earned me about £3.50 in 4 years. That's about right. And it's only in the past 6 months that I've actually started to see some money. I reckon at the moment I'm probably pulling in £45 a month. You know, which again, I mean, if you just look at the various equipment and cameras and audio equipment, you know, I've got this new microphone here. You'll go way past that in spending stuff on equipment, let alone doing things. Then you'll get back. As far as I can tell, successful YouTube channels get most of their money from sponsorship. As in, someone will say, "Hi, here's a lot of money. We'll sponsor your videos." What is wrong with my nose? Itchy. Or they'll get paid to do a review on something. I know that happens a lot. But yeah, I'm not doing this for money. I'm just doing it for a bit of fun. And like I said, any money I get will go back into it to do ridiculous videos. If I can get enough money, I will be going to. My plan is to go to Norway, Oslo, in the Leaf. Why? I don't know. Just because I think it'd be fun. So yeah, but I'll probably wrap up soon. I'll tell you a few things that are coming up. Oh, that reminds me, Tesla. Next week is the Goodwood Festival of Speed, of which I will be. I go every year to, and it is the best car event by a country mile, million miles best thing in the world. We'll be going down on Wednesday and until Saturday camping. And they've got the Tesla Model 3 at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Tesla actually launching it, if you like, in Europe. So I should be able to at least sit in one and have a good look around one next Thursday morning. Which is exciting. Actually see a physical, Model 3 there, because it's been nearly 2.5 years since I put the deposit down on that one. So if anyone's gone to Goodwood Festival of Speed, let me know. We do have 2 tickets to the Goodwood Festival of Speed for the Sunday, because we're coming back on the Saturday and you buy the full weekend. So if anybody is wanting any 2 tickets for Goodwood Festival of Speed on the Sunday, let me know. Because we could probably give you that for very much cheapness, and it is brilliant. Seriously, hand on heart, it is the best thing in the world. And I'll probably try and do a live stream, mobile signal permitting, from Goodwood itself. That'll be next week. You have to be reminded about your Model 3. Yes, that's just literally I was about to mention. The Model 3 will be at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Google it, it's all over Google at the moment. And yeah, that's quite exciting. 2.5 years ago, nearly, I put a deposit down on a car that I'm not going to be getting for at least another 18 months plus. So it's nice to actually see the physical car. I mean, I might get in it and not like it for all I know. So that would be that's going to be fun. And there's going to be a lot of electric cars there. I'm already arranged to talk to Polestar, which is like Volvo's sporting arm, because they're bringing the Polestar 1, I think it's called, which is a full electric kind of supercar of sorts. Or is it a hybrid? It's a fast EV anyway. So I'll be doing a few things like that. And guess where we're going, guys. Before I sign off, guess where me and the wife are going in 2 days. Or rather, what are we doing in 2 days? We are going to be camper leafing. The camper leaf is coming back. I have persuaded my wife. We're going to go to the lakes and camper leaf this Friday. So there'll be a video coming on that one. So yeah, there's a few things coming up. I've got another video where I compare again the Leaf to the Zoe to the i3, as in a comparison video. And one thing I've never done, and I don't know why it's never occurred to me, is an actual video about the Leaf, like a review of the Leaf. I mean, I've had the car for 3 years and I've never done the damn thing. So I'll be doing a video on that as well. And as I say, I'm hoping to do a live stream on a weekly basis, not to replace the videos that I traditionally do. That will carry on. But it's a way of increasing output relatively easily. I mean, again, you know, as I said before, I just have to sit down and talk, press a button, and I'm done. I can go back. So yeah, hopefully we've got quite a few cool things coming up. I was thinking of Tuesday. What do you think? Tuesday evening for a live stream. I think that makes sense because typically I upload videos on a Friday. So Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday. I don't always hit the weekly videos, so I think Tuesday makes the most sense. It's when, you know, in my life that makes sense. My daughter will be in bed, my wife will be at work. So yeah. Let me know if Tuesday, probably 9 o'clock Tuesdays like today, would be good. I mean, ultimately that's it's going to happen, but let me know. Right, I'll go through a few more of these and then I'll sign off, so it's not an immensely long video. I would love to go to Goodwood, but it'll take me till Monday in my 22 kilowatt hour Zoe. 2 years ago, we went down in 30 kilowatt hour Leaf from North Yorkshire. So it's easily doable, and we're camping with electrical hookup, so we charge the car there. But yeah, it did take us about 9-10 hours to get down. Do you think Brexit will have a negative EV effect? No, probably no more than anything else. EV effect, I don't think it's anything to do with the economy. People will choose them. Yeah, if there is any effect, it will affect all cars, EV or otherwise. Pretty please. I'm not sure what you're asking. What you want? Pretty please. Yes, please. Let me know on that one. Go Camper Leaf. Yes, the Camper Leaf is back. It'll be me and the wife sleeping in the Camper Leaf. If you don't know what the Camper Leaf is, go in the channel and look for the Camper Leaf video. It's good fun. If you need, you can use my home charger in Wigan. For Goodwood or for the Camper Leaf? No, well, we should be able to charge. The Lake District has rapid chargers dotted around now, so that's really good. Must go, great show. Tuesday is fine. Right, okay, bye bye. Leaf review and in-depth buying guide would be very useful. There is a buyer's guide. I did it about a month ago. So if you look at my channel, it's Nissan Leaf Buyer's Guide. It's about as in depth as you need it to be, really. So by all means, have a look in there. So yeah, right. If there's any more questions, guys. Goodwood. You want the Goodwood tickets? Well, I'll have a word with Harry, who's been in a few of my videos, to make sure he definitely isn't using them. And I'll let you know if you send me a tweet. And we can do it via that if you like. You're not meant to resell them, but ultimately they are just standard tickets, one for each day. Let me see if there's any left. Buy now. I'm just having a quick check now before I sign off. Right, tickets for Sunday the 15th are £69 each. Wow. We obviously got the full weekend, so you get the full weekend whether you use it or not. So yeah, I don't know, it'll probably be like 50 quid or something like that for both of them. So I'll yeah, if you are interested, then send me a tweet. That's probably best doing it that way. My petrol BMW needs a service every 2 years and costs £399. My Leaf needs a service every year at £199. Why? Probably because they want to make money from you. The Leaf service interval is 18,000 miles or 12 months. But I can't see a reason with that beyond them making money. Right, we seem to be getting to that point where we've been an hour and 50 minutes now. So thanks for everyone that's watched. Thanks for everyone that's chatted. Thanks for everyone that's super chatted for the donations. They are greatly appreciated. So yes, unless there's anything else, guys, be quick on the chat because I'm about to sign off. I will see you hopefully on the live chat at Goodwood Festival of Speed. That's probably when the next one will be. So yes, right. I'll see you soon. Last questions? Anything? Nope. Type fast. If you do need anything, send me a tweet. EVManUK on Twitter. Anytime, ask questions. I'm always happy to answer them. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm about to stop the stream now. So I'll see you soon. And bye-bye.